Right then, welcome back to the channel. We are back again with a preview, having a look at who our opposition are, what they're all about, and how do Manchester United get through this game from a tactical sense. Now, we're playing Luton. It's at the Kenny. It's going to be a tough game. Every team that's gone there has struggled. I don't know if it's the fact that the crowd are experiencing something new. First time in the Premier League for Luton. They're responding. Is it the environment, the stadium? Is how poor the stadium is that a factor? Now, obviously, United preparing to face them amidst what is a positive start to 2024 in the competitions that we remain in. We're unbeaten now in our last 6 matches so far. We are starting to build some momentum, and I think we're going to need it going into this game because Luton are good value at home. Not necessarily so much on the road, but they are good value at home. We have got a group of players that are coming back from injury. I think Luke Shaw's going to make it, judging by what we've heard. It could go either way, but my take on it is I think he'll probably feature. Lisandro Martinez is still a problem for us, and we are not a better team without him. So, that's a problem for us. But hopefully the form and the experience of everyone else around is hopefully going to carry us through this. Now, United are unbeaten in our last 12 matches with Luton in all competitions. We've won 10, drawn 2 of those. The last time we lost was at Kenilworth Road, and that was back in March 1987. 6 months or so into Sir Alex Ferguson's reign at the club. And we've won the last 11 Premier League matches against newly promoted sides, only conceding 5 goals. Those signs look good. Luton, however, are no pushovers, and they have had a bit of a knack of significantly raising their level when the big boys come to town. And their loss last week was the first in 7 games. So, they've started to drag themselves out of the relegation zone. And I'm not sure I could see them beating United, but I absolutely could see them getting a draw against us. I think that's got to be something United are wary of. Now, Rasmus Højlund's hot streak, that's a massive positive for us. He scored a goal in each of his last 5 Premier League outings, makes him the youngest Premier League player to do so since Anelka in '98, which is some good sort of company he's keeping there. A goal on Sunday against Luton would see him become the youngest ever player to score in 6 consecutive games, with Joe Willock currently the youngest at 21 and 272 days. Now, how do Luton play, and what's going to be the drama for us? So it's a 3 at the back. That's the first thing that you're going to notice. And they predominantly set up with, it'll probably be called a 3-5-2, but realistically, I think it's more of a 3-4-1-2. I think the extra separation of someone in between the gap between midfield and attack is important to them. And I think a big aspect of their approach is the positioning of the wing-backs. When you play a 3 at the back, the wing-back position is extremely important. Now, with Luton, the left-back is deployed in a really advanced and wide role, and the right wing-back tends to be a little bit more conservative. During a build-up, Luton Town go with quite a structured approach. They go with a 4-1 shape to start their attacking moves. And the team's left-back plays a crucial role in that build-up strategy by pushing forward and occupying an advanced position up the pitch. This is a bit of a bold bit of movement, but it allows one of the centre-halves to shift into the vacated full-back spot and gives them a little bit of width and more options in those attacking areas. Simultaneously, the right-back assumes a bit of a deeper position, so it looks like a traditional back 4 when they're playing out. This means that the defensive stability is there for them, and it allows the team to progress the ball forward quite confidently. You're seeing a lot more teams, the higher up teams, they're trying to move to a 3 with a couple ahead of the ball so they can try and break the lines and turn it onto them. Teams lower down, they're still trying to keep it with a 4, but it's a little bit more of a narrower 4. You're not necessarily seeing them go to the touch lines with it. It's interesting where they'll watch the positioning of where the fullbacks will pick the ball up, or where the 2 wider players, because technically one will be a wing back, one will be a centre half, but you'll see. But they can also be quite effective and counter any potential opposition threats by having that narrow and compact sort of back 4 behind, in case they do lose the ball. Because they do lose the ball. This isn't a team that's going to come in and getting 70% of the ball every single week. So they're setting themselves up to be a bit of a nightmare to play against and break down. And that's what they're doing. In midfield, the central midfielders really do start to contribute to the build-up phase by getting high. They're not coming deep. They're going to go and get high for it. And their advanced position, I think that what they're looking to do there is to support the team's attacking movement and create passing options for the players that get into possession. You've got to be wary of the likes of Adebayo, who is probably the fastest player in the Premier League this season. And they've got some threats into us. And I don't know if you'll see them necessarily overload or if they'll just get the ball into certain channels and try and go 1v1 against us. So it will be interesting to see how they go in the final third. Is it going to be one up while they try and maintain sort of defensive structure behind? Or at times in the game, maybe predetermined, maybe reactionary to what happens on the pitch, are they going to flood forward and try and overwhelm us? It'd be really interesting to see how that shakes out. Defensively, Luton do go with a 5-3-2. So those wing backs become full backs. They go with a flat 5 across the back. It is then a 3, and then it's a 2. And that allows them to congest the central areas and limit the opposition opportunities to penetrate the middle. The wing backs play a big essential role in Luton's defensive approach. They engage high. They look to disrupt the attacking play of wingers and prevent crosses coming in. So they're going to push out and they're going to try and go 1v1. The first rule, as always, is delay. Try and send them back the other way up the pitch. That's what they're going to be looking to do. They're going to try and stop them. If they get back to where the back line is, then they can still be a little bit adventurous, knowing that there's a back 4 behind them. This isn't, a fullback with only 2 centre-halves behind him who might be occupied by 2 other forwards. They have 5 at the back. So unless an opposition is going to put 6 across their front line, they've got the numbers. But they get out there and they try and block and they stick to that winger like glue because they're able to do so. And then their approach in the transition is characterised by intensity. When you're a team of supposed lower quality, you have to find the X factor, and their X factor is in being intense. They are well equipped to transition from attack to defence. And they do it quite swiftly. And I think another key aspect to their transition game is their ability to keep the counter press effective. They press the opposition immediately after losing possession, and they try and win the ball back in advantageous positions. So if they've lost it on the edge of the opposition third and they can win it back there, that's less for them to play through to be able to get their shots off. So they aim to win the ball back quickly, and they try and do that through intensity. And then they look for any early potential attacking moves that they can find from them. That prevents the opposition from getting any momentum, from getting any sort of like lock on possession and territory, and it makes Luton dangerous. So they are dangerous when it comes to set plays. Starman, I think it would be Adebayo. I think he's been on fire of late. He went from scoring 2 in 14 with a number of those outings coming from the bench to 7 in 9, including a hat-trick at this level. First hat-trick at this level for Luton since 1990, I think it was. He's also got the best shot on target conversion success rate of any player over 5 goals in the top flight. His conversion rate is a ridiculous 80% before they played Sheffield United at the weekend. He is a huge physical presence. We've got power, we've got someone who's good in the air, and he's going to be a real handful. Now, what United don't want is to be playing a halfway defensive line, going 1v1 against him, say Harry Maguire, because he's going to lose that. And I would put Harry Maguire as United's match winner in this one, because you're going to need someone that's able to deal with the set plays, and Harry Maguire can do that. But he's going to need to have a good game verbally. And people are going to misunderstand that. He's going to have to organise, and he's going to have to pass players on, because if United, as I expect them to, play entirely in Luton's half and defend on the halfway line, when United lose the ball, he's going to have to be on the spot. He's either going to have to step in and stop things early before it progresses, because we've seen him running back from the halfway line, and he's going to get left for dust because this Luton team can move. So we need a big game out of him, and teams don't get much more physical than Luton, so his stature will be very important in this game. Adebayo versus Maguire is going to be a massive key matchup. Emphasis on box defending from set plays with the delivery that they've got from the likes of Doughty will be huge. We're going to need this. And the rest of the starting 11 for United, I think it picks itself. I'll put Luke Shaw in because I think he'll be fit. I don't think you're going to see Harry Amash yet. I think it'll be Delo, and I think it will be Varane in front of Onana, obviously. And I think the rest of the team picks itself at the moment. I think Mainu and Casemiro and Bruno, Rashford, Garnacho and Højlund. And I think United can cope with that one game a week. And I'm looking forward to United maybe having a little bit of extra sharpness because we're now on this one game a week thing and we're not used to that. It should be good for us. I'm hoping it's good for us. Now, as always, this preview is brought to you by our friends at Paramatch UK. And again, I have an exclusive bet boost that you cannot get anywhere else. And the bet that I'm going for this week, and last week's came in, for those who are interested, we're going for Adebayo to get one shot on target, Højlund to get one shot on target, both teams to score over 3.5 match cards and over 9.5 corners. And that's gone from 21-4 to 13-2. So if you want to get involved with that, just click the link in the description. Prices are subject to change. You need to be over 18 to participate. And we know that football, United, and especially playing at Kenilworth Road, is completely unpredictable. So this is just a little bit of fun to enhance your enjoyment of the game and not a promise of winning. For help and more information on responsible gaming, please visit begambleaware.org. Once again, it's exclusive to me and Paramatch, so click the link below to get involved. Let me know what bets you're going for in the comments. How do we actually beat them? The first thing you got to do is quiet the crowd. So what you don't allow them to do is to smash you a couple times early doors and really get the crowd on top, because you don't need that. When they build up a head of steam at Kenilworth Road, they are dangerous. And momentum is going to be the single most deadly thing. And it's deadly in sport, full stop. But I think with Luton at home, you can't let them build up any sort of momentum. Whether that early storm, whether that ride out the fact that they're playing United and it's the cup final. You know, a lot of the fans this would have been the first game they looked for when the fixtures came out. We're in the Premier League. When do United come to town? They'll have had this marked in the calendars since June. So don't let them get ahead of steam. Don't let them get on top of you. And then hold the control. Something that we've struggled with in recent times is controlling games. We've allowed far too many games to look like basketball matches, far too transitional, no level of control. But United are starting to get the 11. Okay, we're still missing Martinez. Otherwise, I think that this would be something that I would go control the game. We're still missing Martinez, but I think you've still got most of the rest of the component parts to be able to do this. A vertical transitional game suits them. Take the sting out of it. Let's see if Mainu can make 100 passes, and I think this would take the sting out of the game completely. Either way, it's going to be an absolute cracker. Do not miss it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.